The Secrets of Stargate is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, Episode 40.
Janet West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
All right, here we go. We are about to try to make a connection.
All we gotta do is bust out of here, commandeer the ship, and fly on home.
Indeed. You say that a lot.
I know that this could be dangerous. But this is our job, right? It's what we signed on to do.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
Hi, I'm Jack Baruzzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Sticha. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. Hey, Victor.
Hi, Jack.
And today we are discussing the 20th episode of Season 2, Show and Tell. The Stargate is triggered and the iris is opened despite the SGC's attempts to close it. Through the wormhole comes a young boy. After examining him and determining that he is not a Jaffa or a bomb, the boy tells him that his mother wants him to talk to Jack. The boy, who has taken the name Charlie, says that his mother is a Reetou from the planet Retelia. They are invisible aliens, and it is she who reprogrammed the Stargate Iris. Charlie explains that the Reetou rebels are bent upon destroying all potential Goa'uld hosts, and that he was genetically engineered by the Reetou government to act as a go-between to warn Earth about the rebel attacks. Charlie, who is put together rather poorly by the Reetou, begins to suffer multiple organ failure. The SGC contact the Tok'ra using their phone-a-friend device. The Tok'ra arrive and bring a device called a Tur that is able to temporarily phase the Reetou into our level of existence, thus making them both visible and susceptible to attack. After a reconnaissance mission to the set of the film Starship Troopers, the SG team and Tok'ra return to the SGC only to be followed by Reetou rebels. In the ensuing firefight, several airmen and Tok'ra are killed, as well as Charlie's mother, but the Reetou rebels are able to be stopped. Charlie, who is dying, is taken back with the Tok'ra to be healed and become a host, and the SGC installs palm scanners on the Iris control computer. We do not, however, find out if they took their passwords off the sticky notes on the monitors.
And the Reetou becomes a formidable enemy that plagues the SGC over the entire course of the show. No, they
not.
don't.
Oh, man.
They vanish into obscurity very quickly.
Man, I was hoping to see
I
them.
wonder if
that bubble.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a case of the special effects were greater than the writer's ability to write the cost of it.
Possibly. I like that they had that clever conceit to save on budget by just making them invisible.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were your thoughts on this episode, Father?
Oh, I enjoy this one. I mean, it as you kind of hint, this is definitely an interesting concept and something that I wish they would have played around with a bit more. But the idea that these aliens are, and of course, it's something that you see with Star Trek. Star Trek's done the phase in, phase out thing too, where they're there and they're physical, but you can't see them, but they can affect our world and vice versa. So no, this is one I've enjoyed before.
Yeah, I like. It's nice to see non-humanoid aliens. So that was really fun. What about you, Lisa?
I'm with Father Cory. I like this episode. I wish that they had kept up with the Reetou and the odd that you can't see them. I love that. And I'm always have a favorite for Richard Dean Anderson acting with children. He just seems to do really, really well with child actors. And so that just is a highlight of this episode for me.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like he likes working with kids, and it definitely comes across on the screen, which is nice. What about you, Victor?
No, I like this episode too. It's got it all. It's got aliens, intrigue, cool technology, the Tok'ra, Jacob Carter, and it tugs on the heartstrings with the sick kids. So yeah, so it does have it all, including the first of many cameos from this episode's director.
That's right.
Yeah, who is Peter Deluise, back for another turn as our director today. So
Nice.
Always good when he's in the chair or behind the machine gun in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is the pacing throughout was really, really good. It was like it was nice and fast paced, and it held my attention. Like, it wasn't like last week's episode that was just like, all right, what, okay, do I care about this? Like, they did a really good job building up the tension and then also solving the problems in an intelligent way that didn't feel like they were just trying to wrap up the story.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And they could have fixed last week's episodes actually by making all the aliens invisible.
And silent.
And silent, yeah. Well, there's nothing here. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it's I guess my main qualm with the episode would be I feel like Charlie's character kind of, once he comes through the gate and they talk to him and he does the initial introductions, he kind of doesn't really have a character, and I was hoping they would expand more upon his interactions with Jack. Like, I feel like it kind of, the focus, and I know why the focus switches, because you got 45 minutes to tell a story, but it kind of feels like he comes through and there's this emotional hook they put in, and then it doesn't quite pay off for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't remember watching this if he died at the end, or as it turns out, he goes off with the Tok'ra. And about that, like, I thought they wouldn't ever take like an unwilling host, and I don't know that Charlie really has informed consent in this case because no one's really talked to him about it. Like, you're not going to be you anymore, but so maybe they'll prep him on that when they get him through. But so I was all prepared for him to die at the end, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be so sad. But yeah, no, they got a very good actor to play Charlie there, who I think was actually 14 at the time this was filmed, 13 or 14. I think he had like Nog syndrome or something, the actor, but yeah, so
he did look a little bit older.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the typical like 10-year-old or something like that.
But
yeah,
go ahead.
It was funny though. It'll probably be out about the same time this episode comes out, but we recorded an episode of Doctor Who where there were some kids that, you know, they were the stereotypical just kids. I mean, it was awful. And Jimmy Akin says that, you know, if a cute kid shows up on Doctor Who, it needs to die. Or basically, it needs to be the character that somewhere the kid has to die. Otherwise, they can't write him well.
Yeah, or have its face grafted onto a gas mask or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's definitely my favorite quote from a Catholic apologist.
Yeah. So you have to check out the episode of Seekers of Doctor Who on Nightmare on Silver to get the context of that quote.
7 out of 10. Not enough kids die.
Did and I know he looked familiar, and he actually plays a character in X-Files named Gibson Praise, and he's the exact same kind of character. He's like this preternaturally intelligent, genetically engineered chess prodigy kid.
Yeah,
kind of the same kind of character in that too.
Maybe he's playing himself. Maybe he really is a genetically engineered, preternaturally intelligent person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching this with I was watching this with our oldest son, and he came in. He's like, "So what's the deal with Chemo Kid?" And I was like, "What?" And then I realized that was the son who had actually gone through chemotherapy, and so that was okay because he was the Chemo Kid. And I was like, "Okay, you can say that."
Nice.
For complaints, please send an email to Victor Lambs at no.
And support pediatric cancer research, everyone.
Nice.
Yes,
definitely. But yeah, and also just the fact that the iris they seem to have no like OPSEC going on there. Nope. Like, and I know that that's something that's really come up a lot, especially working in the defense industry over the past few years. Like, they've been drilling that, and like the requirements they have for cybersecurity are so stringent now that they're almost impossible to meet if you're a small company. But you might know some of this, Father, since you were in the Air Force around that time. But like, I assume their security even then on their computers was better than is shown here.
It depends. Well, actually, of course, when I was the mid 90s, when short of like a server or whatever, you had your desktops. But I would assume, if I was working someplace like SGC, that the Stargate computers would have passwords. You know, you would have to log in username and password and so on. And of course, now they put in the hand scanner because palm scanners are cool.
Yeah.
Still are, by the way. I mean, we have thumbprints now and face scanners, but palm scanners are still cool. But yeah, and I've heard that in the Air Force now that they've gone so bad for security that the computers, even on just a standard unclassified desk, are almost unusable.
Yeah.
Because they've got so many background processes and everything. But yeah, Operation Security obviously is one of those key issues you need to watch out for. Not everybody should be able to just punch in on the computer. And I felt sorry for the poor senior master sergeant, the first shirt there that's getting yelled at by the general because the iris keeps opening even though he's not doing it.
It's not me. I guess, yeah. I mean, this is back in the days when you could like walk out of an Air Force base with a thumb drive full of Lady Gaga MP3s, right? I mean, that's a topical reference. That's about 12 years old, but yeah. Yeah. So, so I do like the hand scanners solution. It's very like, you know, bespoke. It's to the point, and like, you know, weird bug creatures and stuff don't have hands, right? So check,
at least not human
checkmate
palms.
Aliens,
unless they cut off somebody's hand.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Well, they've already
that would be a
shown
little
they can-
dark for Stargate.
Yeah.
They can bioengineer a whole human, so I kind of feel like they might be able to bioengineer like an unlock hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've got the capability now. People figured out that, you know, our cell phone cameras are so good that they can actually take a picture of your fingerprints and read them on the smartphone. That's like an actual thing where, you know, like if you have a fingerprint on, like, say, glass, they can actually take a picture of it and be able to read it well enough to make a fake 3D printed fingerprint.
Yikes.
Just gave criminals.
And that's a real deal. I mean, that's a real concern right now.
Time to break out the sulfuric acid again, I guess.
Do the whole penguin from the classic Batman and get your plastic coated fingertips.
Yeah, there you go.
Another thing I really like about this episode is when they go through the Stargate to the Reetou planet, that it's not just Vancouver. It's like this desolate looking desert planet. And I know I made fun of that scene in the summary comparing it to Starship Troopers, but I really like that scene and the way it's done. Like they're panning over and they're revealing them and there's just tons and tons of them. Like I thought that was really cool. I really liked that. It really gave a sense of scale that I feel like you don't really get when it's just a bunch of trees around.
Yeah, well, it's good use of a quarry.
Yeah,
you know, that's always the joke. Classic Who always went. Doctor Who went to a quarry. Well, that looks like a good use of a quarry there. No, it is a great scene though. I mean, they're sitting there going, you know, Jacob Carter's like, okay, they're close, and they scan, and there's hundreds of them out there wrestling and fighting, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of them.
After Selmac and Jacob keep going, oh, there's only 5 usually. 5. There's just 5, and so it was So it was
maybe
kinda
10.
nice to scan, and then you're like, you know.
I didn't get those. So the Reetou are like advanced in genetic engineering. They can grow a human and stuff. And yet when you go to the planet where the rebels hang out, there's like no infrastructure, no structures of any kind. And it's just a bunch of bugs like punching each other in the face. And it's like, it's like, did they like, I don't know, just like walk away from all that technology and like, you know, renounce it? And I don't know what their deal is, the rogue rebel Reetou on Retalia or whatever.
Well, there were some buildings in the background. You know, the matte painting had some buildings in the background, but that was about it.
They were, you know, practicing, like drilling, like, you know, practicing their tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is their parade grounds. Yeah.
It was Reetou Recess.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good band name. Yeah. And I thought the CGI was pretty good for the time. Like it was, it didn't take me out of the story the way that the species 8472 does in Voyager when we see them.
Yeah, it was much better than 8472, but still, and in the med bay, still like PlayStation 1 cutscene a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Well, but that was kind of the time though. That was top of the line. But you know, bug splatter was pretty effective. I mean, that was a good bug splatter effect.
So if you scan the walls, is there like now Reetou splatter everywhere? Right, because when you shoot them, they splatter.
I would guess so.
Is it like a black light where you can see blood and all that stuff? So it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I was just ready for the old Nintendo 64 Doom soundtrack to start playing.
Yeah. We get that later on. I think it's like season 8 where they actually do play Doom for an entire episode.
Oh, nice. But yeah, I also liked. It's always nice to see the Tok'ra. Although I do feel like it's funny that they get the device to call them, and then I think this is like the second or third time they've used it in the past like 4 or 5 episodes.
I think this is the first time they've used the Tolan device to call them, right? Because
because they used it to call the Tolans once.
Yeah,
and then they use it here for the Tok'ra. And it's probably, and I think it's actually like the same
It
footage.
is.
It's like literally they took the footage from season 1 and just replayed it.
They did.
I think they called the Tok'ra one other time though.
I think you're right. They did.
Yeah,
I think
when
they did once
Apophis
before.
was hanging around.
Yeah,
but,
when he was dying. Yeah,
but I think they did that. How did they do that? I don't know. I don't know that they used the because I think they got the Tolan device at the end of that one, but I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't know if this is a Peter Deluise like specific thing, but I was really enjoying how everything was labeled in this episode. Like things, usually it's they have the technology label, but they show from the gate room up into the, control room, and they have like the monitors,
the telemetry image processor.
That was it. Yeah. Everything is labeled in this. It was just kind of cool.
The telemetry image processor.
Yeah, and then they come in with the, it's not enough to say, oh yeah, this is our like Tok'ra bug zap or something. It's like, no, this is our TER, or I forget what it stands for now, but yeah, so it was like even the Tok'ra have their acronyms and stuff. But it was a pretty cool looking weapon too. It has the little flashlight. And
I was going to say, is it my imagination, or did that look like a refurbished 1990s sci-fi gun? Like some sci-fi movie from the 90s had that like as a gun, and they reused it.
It kind of looked like that. I was thinking it looked like something out of Halo.
Yeah. Something along that lines. But it's just, I looked at it, it's like, I'm sure I've seen this in a movie or TV show before, but those were the actual guns. Well, I like that they even had to, cock it like a shotgun, rack it like a shotgun. Okay, now we're ready.
Yeah. That's not functional. It just feels cool. That's why they put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Transphasic eradication rod. There you go.
Nice.
Ooh,
I do like that the energy blasts that come from both the Reetou weapons and that device actually are devastating. Because one of my biggest problems with like phasers in Star Trek or the blasters in Star Wars is that someone will get like hit by a phaser, and it's like that's immensely powerful energy. You should just be dead. And it's like, oh, I'm just scratched, even though you got shot in the chest.
Walk it off.
It's nice to see people exploding when they get hit with that kind of energy, rather than just
yeah. The random airman that gets shot. You get the one guy where you get blasted with behind Daniel and O'Neill, and you see like the outline of his body where it burned.
Yeah,
the door.
the guy that Daniel basically killed with his little funny joke.
Yeah,
and But yeah, no, and then we get unnamed Tok'ra who gets like blown through the window, and I'm wondering is that because I couldn't find the name of the actor anywhere.
Never said a word.
And so
not a single word.
Yeah,
no.
So I don't know if he was a crew member or like one of the production staff or something.
He's the one that got sent back to get all the stuff they forgot.
Yeah, being a red shirt in Stargate, right? It's like random unnamed dude who never says a word.
Doesn't get those residuals. Yeah.
Well, at least the airmen, I didn't write down their names, but at least the airmen that got shot, at least they had a name. So you're at one point, you with them, you with them, you with them. Okay, those three are dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And also gave a real sense of peril in that final action sequence. Like I really liked that. It was well paced. It was tense, and the fact that the weapons were so devastating, like really gave a sense of peril, which you don't get a lot of the times in like sci-fi laser fights. I feel like.
I was going to say...
Yeah, and Carter got to throw a grenade. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I think that Peter Deluise coming on the scene, I know I wasn't here for the last episode, his first episode that y'all talked about, but he really, I think he's the most, the director that's with Stargate the most from here on out. I believe he has more episodes under his credit than anyone as director, and there's a reason. I mean, he just does it so well. Yeah, and
He's so
I
good.
feel like you really sense that in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when he's not writing, he stays on as the show's creative consultant too. So it's a lot of the world building plus the action in that episode. Serpent Song, we did talk about the opening scene of that as they're being attacked by death gliders, and Jack actually walks backwards into the Stargate, and so you see the Stargate effect like going backwards as the blasts are like coming at him in slow motion and stuff. So yeah, he's very like another director I really like is John Landis, who could do action very well, but also could do interpersonal moments and humor very well as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of that in his work. So as I mentioned in the previous episode, whenever you see his name pop up as like director, it's always like, ooh, there's going to be something good in this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can tell he's definitely paying attention to the craft of writing and directing and expanding the world rather than just banging out an episode just to get one done. And I like that this, even though, as you guys have said, that we don't really see the Reetou anymore. It's nice to see another alien race that is not. It's not, you don't just get the binary thing where it's either they're on the gold side or they're on the human side. Like they're kind of a third entity. We haven't seen a lot of that, so it's nice to see that.
Well, not just it's not one or the other. It's you've got the split between them because you got the rebels who want to kill off the humans and anybody else who can be old hosts, and then you've got the rest of the Reetou whoever is left that they're opposed to that and they're trying to prevent that.
Right. Yeah, avoid that the whole Planet of Hats thing that you get a lot of the time, where every single planet is a monoculture and everyone thinks the exact same thing.
Yeah. Or my favorite thing in Star Trek is when they go to like, the whatever, like Antaran system, right? And it's like the third planet, Antara 3 is what we, the Federation people call it. And then the people from that planet refer to it themselves as like Antara 3 or something. It's like, no, it's your planet. You get to come up with a better name for it. But yeah.
Well, that's my headcanon. That's how the translator, universal translator, translate their version of Earth.
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth is what they say, and what the Federation hears is welcome to Antares 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've always thought of it. I do like that the aliens are the Reetou from Retalia, and that gives you the whole thing you see very often where whatever the alien species name is, their planet is just kind of a variation of that. And I like when you see planets that are like where the species name has nothing to do with the actual planet, and you don't really get that a lot. I think like Kronos, and you get the Klingons in Kronos, and that's different. And then obviously,
you mean we're not from Humania?
I guess Earthlings would be that, but
yeah.
And they do call us the.
We don't call
Tok'ra.
ourselves that.
I mean, not Tok'ra, the Tari. Yeah.
Tari,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which based on our planet. No, I really do wish we'd seen maybe not the Reetou itself again, but kind of the threat of them again, the rebels. I mean, because it was a really interesting, like we talked about last week about how they really tried to have, an alien that didn't speak English, that wasn't, human and fit in with everything. They tried to think outside the box, and I like that they did it again this week, and I loved it. But we don't. It's again, we don't see them again. And to have Charlie then go with the Tok'ra and you assume live and whatever, he could have been a great intermediary. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't figure it was a future there.
I'll come visit you, Charlie, and you can come visit me.
Nope.
A wink.
Never again.
And we never see him again.
See, they could have had him and like Cassandra hook up in a few years and like, right?
Yeah. No, we needed more Charlie. I think, Jeff Gulka, the actor, like knocked it out of the park with that role. And I would have liked to see him more. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be the next Stargate movie will be the two of them, or Stargate show will be the two of them coming back to Earth and rejoining SG-1.
If they do continue the canon, which is the big push right now, online, Cassandra is. I'm trying to think how many years it's been now. So she's way grown up.
So this,
yeah.
I was gonna say this is 30 years ago, almost 25 years ago. 25 years ago.
Or at least higher up in the structure. That would be a neat little twist, right? And then you could bring people back like Charlie and some of these other younger actors or characters that we've had over the years.
Yeah, and there could be like a cartoon hologram of Jack or something to help them figure out what they need to do or something. I don't know.
Just have him show up. Come on.
Yeah.
In retirement and be kind of grouchy and like, get off my lawn. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah, there you go.
So I have noticed he's aged a lot since the show came out, but I have noticed him. He actually was on what's the main guy who made the Stargate? I can't remember his name. Brad Wright, yeah. He has a podcast, and Richard Dean Anderson was on it recently, and he's like he's getting back into shape. So
good. So maybe
I'm kind of hoping that maybe that's
nice.
Well, most of the SG-1 cast, as well as some of the Atlantis cast, are in for a new show. So
yeah,
that would be. And there's a lot of hope for that. And, there's a lot of things they could do that could follow up with episodes like this.
You'll have to remind me, but when they did Universe, there was something about Jack and Daniel were the only original characters from the movie that were in the SG-1 that stayed with it. And so when they did it, I thought I read somewhere, and someone who's listening can correct me, that there was a point that they had to be in each of the pilots going forward. I don't know if it had something to do with the contract or it had something to do with, how they threaded it. But I thought that they had to be in at least one of the episodes. But I don't know. It's been too many years.
Interesting.
So I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, and I'd wonder how many of those agreements are still in effect with MGM being bought by Amazon and all that.
Well, and again, agreements that were written 25, 30 years ago, are they still valid, or do they have like sunset clauses or something like that?
It's tradition.
Yeah, it's tradition. Let's just go for it.
It's tradition,
They're all
yeah.
still around. Let's do it.
We're on a Catholic podcasting network. It's tradition.
Exactly.
Yeah. We all know how respectful to tradition reboots have been of the various other things. So
I don't know. Amazon did a really good job with the Tick reboot. It only lasted 2 seasons, but and there was some casting shenanigans going on with that, but it was a really good reboot of the
and they're taking over The Expanse. I mean, they did an amazing job with that. So there's hope there.
It'll be interesting to see if they make a new show, if they're going to just go for a reboot or if they will do like a sequel that continues the canon. I feel like they'd probably do that because you have so much to build on. Just starting from scratch doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Stargate, the next generation.
Got a ring to it.
Stargate, Prodigy.
Yeah, it sounds great. No one's ever thought of that before.
Yeah, it could be
and this literally would be the next generation.
Stargate Prodigy or Infinity.
The very first animated Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. Which we will need to talk about at some point. Stargate Infinity. But
April Fool's is coming up eventually.
Oh.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds like that's going to be a good target for that.
Yeah.
So anatomy wise, do Reetou have an eye stalk? Because when like Carter was like about to chuck a grenade, there was like that little Dalek eye stalk that went around the corner or something.
Oh, that was the gun.
Oh, that was their.
That was the gun.
Oh, was it their gun or is that an appendage or that's their gun? Okay.
No, it's the gun because when they shoot the one in the sick bay and then point at Mother puts her hands up and that the gun is part of it.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of had eyes.
Okay.
Kind of about normal head level, but yeah, that was their Dalek gun.
Ah, okay. And it wasn't clear to me also like who shot Mother, and it was one of the other Reetou. Okay.
The last one.
Because I was gonna say that'd be pretty like I was like, wait, is that the Reetou we care about that just got blasted? Well, the kid didn't scream Mother yet, so it's like, and then it's like Mother, and I was like looking around like was it Jack or Daniel who just blasted Mother? But I guess it was
the other Reetou.
It was the other Reetou. Okay.
Can we just talk for a minute about the fact that she was Mother, and he says, "What well, what's your name?" And he says, "I don't have one." And he says, "What does your mother call you?" And he says, "Son." And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I loved it.
Nice. Nice dad joke there. Only I guess it's a mother joke.
And he says son, because he calls everyone son, right? And he goes, no, my name is now
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that was done nice.
Favorite Charlie moments when he's interrupted. He goes, "For crying out loud!"
Yes.
Just like Jack.
No, that was so funny.
Yeah.
And O'Neill just kind of looks at him like, my son.
I like that he picks up on all his mannerisms.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that since we don't see this character again, I feel like you put this stuff in here, but then it doesn't really go anywhere. So that would be something that would nice to see them continue those character relationships.
You wonder if it was a plan and that just didn't work out. Or, you know what I mean? If when they wrote it, it was the idea of, okay, look, we're going to, bring him back. We're going to continue this. That's why they sent him with the Tok'ra and didn't have him die, that kind of thing. I don't know. I would interested to know if that if it fell apart, they never had the intention or what, because they did write it where it kind of like Victor. Yeah. You said
open-ended.
I was like, he's going to die. That'd be really sad, so he captured your heart. So you wanted him to do well.
Yeah. If there's ever if I ever have the chance to get everyone who worked on Stargate together in a room and ask them questions, it's just going to be a long list of okay, so why didn't we ever hear of the Reetou again? Okay. Why didn't we ever hear of Robot Dr. Weir again? Okay. I just keep going through all of these, all these things. It's wow, they're going to be a big problem for us from now on. It's wow, those Pegasus Galaxy Asgard, they're really going to be dangerous. And it's nope.
Of course, could you also keep the list of why did you keep so-and-so around? Right?
Yeah.
It's Atlantis thing, but we'll talk about it later.
Nice.
No, everybody on Atlantis was. You didn't Chuck the technician, did you?
No, it was Ford. It was Ford. All right.
Ford
didn't work.
Ford.
That just
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. What? Yeah. What happened to him? Did he get off the hive ship or not? Yeah. It's a question.
All right. We'll just keep that list. Someone write down, and we'll just keep a list.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the decisions that are made, because most shows are not planned out beginning to end. Other than Babylon 5, pretty much everything else is just they have a series Bible and they'll build upon the lore, but there's a lot of threads that don't end up being followed through. So did y'all have any other thoughts on this episode?
One. Oh yeah, one thing I did like is when they Velcroed the TER to the MALP and sent it through the Stargate just to see if there was any Reetou around there. And I was like, oh, they use Velcro. And then Jack came through and picked it up, and I was like, well, yeah, if you only have a handful of these things, you don't want to permanently attach it to the MALP because you're going to want to grab it and stuff. So I thought that was a nice touch.
Well, they don't even show them, but the MALP sweep with the TR is successful. You can imagine it. So it comes through and just pivot the arm.
Yeah. The Reetou are just dancing it's not looking at me.
Yeah.
I was like, don't you want to go up to the control room and somebody else look at it? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Just
go ahead.
Go on through.
People you can't see. Go ahead.
You'll get a migraine if there's anything there. Don't worry about it.
No big deal.
That was a nice little touch, right? Since they were completely invisible to humans, at least Teal'c and the Tok'ra could sense them. My only hiccup was, why do you give the TER thing to the person that when the Reetou is in the room, crouches over and grabs their stomach or their head and can't shoot them?
Yeah. And conversely from that, at the end, when Carter is sent to sweep the base, why didn't Teal'c go with?
Yeah.
You've got a person who's like a built-in Reetou detector. So let's leave them in the med bay instead of sending them with.
I think another thing they need to do is, on your your garden hose, you can get those attachments that change the angle of the water so you get a much wider range of spray. Just get a nozzle that you can put on the end of the TER that gives you a wider field of vision.
Or a glass prism or something.
Yeah.
Like a kaleidoscope.
There must have been some way to do that though, because they had a pretty good field of vision with the cam.
Yeah, it's like shining a flashlight across 5 miles away.
Do we see? Okay, I want to say that we see this tool weapon again, maybe modified to do something else.
Is it Anubis's super soldiers?
Can't remember.
I think it might be. I'll look it up. I think it's Anubis's.
The only time we see this weapon used, that we use it for something.
No.
else.
I'm sure the prop gets reused.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
They're good at that.
Oh. Eris Bosch used a modified version as his primary weapon.
Right.
But I don't like third season, yeah.
Okay, so we do see it again next season.
And I had to laugh, just kind of speaking of reusing things, but when the unnamed, unspeaking Tok'ra got blasted, the glass was already pre-cracked. You could see that it was before it even hit the glass, that it was, of course it was fake glass. It was glass for the purpose of going through, but it was already pre-shattered.
Maybe it was the shockwave from the blast hit it before the guy did.
Sure.
But you're right, Jack. That was nice
Maybe-
to see a weapon that actually has some oomph, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say maybe the glass was just cracked from the superheating of the iris in the Serpent Song episode. They hadn't replaced the panes yet. There we go.
Yes. Yes. The call disruptor was also the it was the TER was used was modified to become a call disruptor, and the crawl were the call were the Anubis's super soldiers. So we do see them walking around with those to try and did I just close you guys?
No.
Shoot.
No,
Oh, okay, cool.
We're still here.
Sorry.
We're just
I
listening.
thought I closed the wrong window. Yeah.
You should sit here and be quiet for a second.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No, okay, there we are.
Really
Awesome.
fast at Googling this stuff.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought you said Kroll, and I was hoping we get that extremely inefficient, like spiral.
The glaive.
weapon.
The glaive, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we get Liam Neeson riding horses on a treadmill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds really interesting.
It's a movie called Kroll, and
Yeah.
you need to see it because it's terrible and
Bad
amazing.
80s B movie.
Decent Atari 2600 game, though.
Nice. I think that's all I had for this episode. Y'all got anything else?
Nope. That was all I had.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including JJ, Tammy B, Matt S, Vicky R, and Kimberly K. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give, and be sure to follow the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. And you can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. You can also join the StarQuest Fan Club mailing list by texting StarQuest to 66866. Send StarQuest to 66866. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, 1969. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thank you.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well. And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Jack, can I be your son for a while?
I think that's the best one I've heard so far. Yes, you can.
Oh, and remember, there were a lot of them. They were indeed invisible.
Yes. Another excellent quote.
Yes.
That's number 5 on the list of why boys cry.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm Jack Baruzzini. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?